of more beautiful women. Look at these women, all colors, all shapes, all sizes. Yes, right. Well, just where we are. Right. And so we're really just here to have fun today. We're going to have a brunch. This is going to be our first crystal brunch, and we're just calling it crystal because guess what? We are divine and we are fine, right?
Yep.
We can have messed up. So I'm Val. We're going to go around the table and everybody introduce themselves. And you're going to tell us what you do. Tell us a little bit of something about yourselves. And I'll start with myself. So I'm Valerie, aka Miss Valerie, and I am the owner of Wholesale Natural Body Care. I'm also the new founder of the Virtuous Millionaire Club, which I'm hoping that everybody here will become one of the club members. And it's not really a club where I'm not selling anything. I don't have anything but love to share for this group of women that I'm hoping that will embrace this new movement. And the reason I'm calling it the Millionaire, the Virtuous Millionaire, is because it's a mindset, right? I think everybody in here is a Christian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so to me, the Proverbs 31 woman was definitely a virtuous millionaire, and she was thought of likewise, you know, when you read about what she did and how she was revered in her community, and then how she was respected and loved by her children, right, Sister Amy?
Everything she did.
Yes, and she, and everything that she put out was the best.
Yes.
And in her community, they knew her for that. So that's what I'm all about. And I chose the Virtuous Millionaire because guess what? We are God's children, and all of us have the capacity to be anything that we want to be.
That's right.
Right? You know.
That's right.
So right. And this has been a year. 2020 has definitely been a year. Would y'all say so?
Yes.
With the pandemic and everything going on with COVID. But even in the midst of all of that, the Lord still shone bright in my life. You know what I'm saying? In a time when the world was saying things were horrible, the economy is terrible.
Yes.
Because we put our hand to what the Lord had given us, you know, to be good stewards over, He blessed like I just really could not imagine. I was talking with Jamina from Speaking Out News back in May. And back in May, she has a business similar of like mine, and it was kind of birthed out of the same idea, I'm sure. But we were looking at numbers in May for Wholesale Natural Body Care. And in May, so the pandemic had started, maybe in March? February and March then?
Right.
So March, April, May.
Right.
Wholesale Natural Body Care, and I'm just sharing with you ladies because I want to pour into your spirits and give you all hope in a down time, in a down economy. So on average, my company had been a lifestyle business, and we averaged maybe $800,000 per year. And I've been in business 19 years. I had really not done any advertising because I was treating it like a mom and pop business. So I didn't do a whole lot of advertising. We did a little kind of here and there. But I had a customer, a very brilliant young lady, and she came to me and talked about some things that she needed. And we talked about what she was doing to grow her business. At the time, her business was doing about $55,000 a month. So that's slated to do about $700,000 a year. But she's a brand new business. And she hired a marketing company. Girlfriend went from doing $55,000 a month to $500,000 a month. I wasn't doing $500,000 a month. So I said, what are you doing? This was in February. And she told me, actually it was before then, but trying to wrap your brain around paying someone $3,500 a month when you're only making $800,000 a year and you have staff, you're not going to just do that comfortably. You have to be able to see your way. Right. Even though my business is a faith-based business, I couldn't see $3,500 a month. I just couldn't see it. And I really wasn't paying myself at the time. But after she talked to me and gave me hope and gave me a vision. I saw where the missing elements for my business, what I needed to be doing. And so I did try the $3,500 a month, but I still wasn't ready for that. So I backed up a little bit and did something that I could afford. So we started doing that, I want to say in March, February, March. It was already in place. We did not know COVID was coming. So I started just the little ginger advertising May 18th. I was at 1.1 million.
Hallelujah. Wow.
Okay. Just a little bit. I was doing more praying and more returning my tithe than I was paying advertising, though, let me tell y'all right now. So God is really, really good.
Yes.
Okay, so that was 1.1 million then. As a virtuous woman that wants to do what's right, that wants to love the Lord, that wants to walk by faith and not by sight, and put the Lord first in everything that I do. So now, okay, so that's May, June, July, August, September, October, right? We just hit November. Oh, wow, we at 2.6 million. We're just doing a little bit of advertising, just a little bit of advertising. And so we went from doing just that small amount of advertising to overly consuming the building that we purchased, my husband and I purchased. It's been 2 years in November 15th. It'll be 2 years that we've been in the building that we're in. And right now we're looking at, and it's 6,000 square feet, we're looking at occupying a 30,000 square foot building. Y'all tell me God ain't good.
Wow.
Yes. All the time.
So that's my hope. That's my, right? Even in the pandemic, okay?
This is all during the
Because it doesn't have anything to do with his goodness or his mercy or his grace towards his children.
That's right.
And those that love him, that keep his commandments and obey him. Because that's what this is all about. So that is why this is a virtuous millionaire mindset movement. Are you guys okay with that?
Yes.
So when I'm
Right. Here we go. Where else can I put my name in?
So I'm Valerie Rowan, and I approve this message. Let's start with First Lady Amy Sledge.
Well, I'm Amy Sledge, and I'm a retired special education director. I retired from special ed after 30 years.
Oh, wow.
30 years in education, and I've loved every moment of it, but I felt like it's time for me to come home and just continue to be the best pastor's wife I can ever be, best mom, best grandmother. I want to spend time with family. I've been a pastor's wife for 33 years. So I've just been very, very busy. And I just love everything that I do. I love every moment. I've been waking up during the pandemic, just thanking God and praising Him because I'm happy every day. You know, sometimes people think that you've got to be in that grind all the time, but the Lord has blessed me to be in a moment of time to where I can just relax and just take in things like this, Valerie.
Amen.
And that just brings so much joy to my heart to just be with women who can impart some things to me, and hopefully I can share some things that might help along the way. So I'm just glad to be here.
Oh, well, thank you for being. Let's give her a clap. Oh, First Lady Sledge.
Oh, she said
I'm sorry, she has one more thing to share.
one more thing, something that God has just birthed out of our dreams. My husband and I always wanted to own a nonprofit. Of course, we've always wanted to give to the community. We started out after we got married. We didn't hardly have money to do anything with, so we wanted to help others. So what we did was we stacked our garage with canned goods and non-perishable things, so that if we ran across anyone, we could give them food, because we knew what it was like to not have a lot of food at certain times. So the Lord has blessed us to start our 501c3, which is called CAP, Community Advancement Programs. And we were blessed during the pandemic to be able to give out at least 52,000 boxes of food within a 2-month span. We were able to give to other agencies and other churches hundreds of boxes to take to their communities to give out, and it has been such a blessing. It was hard work, but it was so rewarding for us to see happy faces, and sometimes children would be in the back seats and they would open up the boxes and see apples or oranges, and you would think that that should be a natural occurrence, but it wasn't, and we were, so thankful. Sometimes we saw people crying because here's this one box of food or 2 boxes of food that was going to help them meet the needs of the family. So we just find so much joy doing that, and we're so grateful for what God has done for us.
Amen.
Yes. So I'm Candace Sledge.
Hey, Candace.
This is my beautiful mother. And I'm a mom. I love being a mom. I have a 13-year-old son, Caleb, who's amazing. I sing, which is why I'm hoarse right now. Went a little too hard today. But I sing. I'm working on a book. I'm starting a clothing company.
Wow.
Career-wise, I am a program manager and an acquisition manager, and I thoroughly enjoy that. I do program management consulting as well. I have a company for that. And what else? Oh, and I do coaching. So I have my hands in a lot of things.
What kind of coaching?
So it's success coaching. So I focus a lot on career coaching and giving that sort of advice, as well as just life coaching in general. But I'm very passionate about people finding their niche, their passion, and figuring out how we can strategize for you to take those steps to achieve it. And so sometimes, it's the mindset work. You've got to, get them through. But I thoroughly enjoy it. That's something that I've done for some years now, just, kind of here and there. And I'm just putting more focus on it now. And so I'm really, really excited about that.
Amen.
Yeah. Nice. Am I next? Okay. Well, my name is JQ. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Right now, I have 2 businesses that I actively run daily. And I'm into media and fitness and fashion and music.
All right.
My kind of girl.
Yeah.
Fitness, fashion.
Yeah, and clean beauty. That's kind of like my newest thing that I'm trying to get into, is more clean beauty products that can help people that are interested in more natural things that are not animal based, and that are entrepreneurial based, from business to business, brand to brand, specific African American women.
All right.
Amazing. Yes.
So I'm Cassandra, and I am originally from Rochester, New York, where Valerie's from. Grew up with her
In the same church?
Grand old Church of God in Christ.
Oh, yes. Amen. For the Church of God in Christ.
And so, their Church of God in Christ.
All right, now,
Yes.
coaching it. Yes. So, and that's right. Big up, big up.
Go have a break into a song.
Well, I'm not coaching anymore, but I still visit, and I
There you
still
go.
know what I know from
That's
coaching,
right.
and I never will forget it.
That's
It's
right.
my foundation, and my passion and my love still. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia now, and I am in education as well, and I'm teaching. I have been teaching now for the last 15 years, and right now I'm just like really, really experiencing and loving total wellness. Total wellness, inside and out, I know all of us, when the pandemic first hit, we were wondering, what's going to happen to the economy, and what's going to happen to my family, and what's going to happen to my job, And I said, Lord, could it be I can have some time off with pay? I'm good with that. That's what I told him. I was like, can I get up and just pray to you all during the night and don't have to worry about getting up and go to work? I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And then he said, okay, yes, Cassandra, and I'm going to give you some money too to stay home. You know, my job called me and the school that I'm working for, and I had seniority at the school, so they asked me first, you know, early on, would you like to take this opportunity, you know, because we're going to just start having school half days and we don't know what's going to happen. And before I knew it, I said, yes, I would love to have this time off. I have been working since college. Yes. And I tell you, and during this time, this total wellness, I was going out, I was like in my own little cocoon, you know. The only thing I could do was go out and walk every day. And it was just therapeutic for me, you know. Sometimes I would be out, me and my puppy, for like, you wouldn't believe it, 2.5, 3 hours a day.
Yes.
I didn't have anything else to do, couldn't go anywhere else. That was my outing, you know. And during that time, of course, I was getting my workout on, you know, and sweating and getting my fitness on, because it was hot during those months. But I also, that was a time to just like enjoy nature, things that we don't get to enjoy. I was seeing flowers of all colors, you know, just and taking time to stop and smell them and enjoy them. And I find a cool tree, sit under a tree and relax a little bit, start walking some more. Of course, talking to my Heavenly Father, you know, so it was, and then during that time, He's told me this is a time of increase. And I said, well, how is that going to be? You know, everybody's going to be off from work. Everybody's going to be, you know, this is a time of increase. And he said, this is a time of increase. And then he quickly told me in another couple of days of my walking and talking with him, it's not the increase that you think, Cassandra. It's not just all financial. Increase in your faith. Increase in your love. Increase in your patience. And I said, I need it. Increase in your time with your family. You know, and it was just so awesome to just, you know, go through this time. And I don't wish the pandemic at all, but this was truly a time just to really get to know myself more, have time with myself more and with God more, and I really appreciated it. And I still told God, I'm cool with this. I am so cool with this. If I could just walk around and praise you all day and listen to my sermons on YouTube, and I am just totally good with this, you know. And I can go on and on about this time of total wellness inside and out. And I put myself in boot camp.
All right.
Mentally and physically.
Okay.
That's my second boot camp. She know about the first one. I put myself back in boot camp and I just hunkered down and I was like, they said shelter in place. I don't have a problem with it. Used to be a problem with that with me. Just being by myself, you know, and always had to be around people, you know. And, you know, it just really helped me to even conquer that even more. I amazed myself that being home alone did not send me into a state of depression again. I was so amazed. I tell you, I'm getting excited just thinking about what the increase that God has done for me during this pandemic. He has given me so much peace. My increase in happiness, and that is more than even the money, the increase in the money that He gave me. The peace that He has given me in this last year, and the happiness. I wake up in the morning literally like, bling, 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 bling. We're going walking. My dog is like, comes to the side of my bed, and he knows. Mom's getting ready to go. We're gonna go on our adventure. You know?
My dog keeps putting on my pants and he started like, okay, I'm ready.
I'd be like, get some water. He'd be like, I say, okay, leash. And he just stand by that leash. And he just wait for me to get myself together. And it's just awesome. And he really misses it. And I miss that time. I'm back at work now. And I really miss that time of just time is of no essence. How often do we get that? My girlfriends were calling me, telling me, well, I'm bored. I'm ready to go back to work. I'm like, huh?
No, not yet.
Okay. They were like, I'm ready to go back back to work and I'm bored and I just don't know what to do with myself. And I'm like, I got plenty to do.
Yeah.
I could just think of all kinds of things to do, you know? So, I'm gonna be quiet.
Okay, I'm Ebony, everyone. Miss Valerie is my mother-in-law. I'm a medical assistant and I'm also a mom. Got a lot of kids. And I started working with her. I left from the medical field and started with Miss Valerie. And since I've been there, I have learned a lot. When I tell you a lot, Miss Valerie has encouraged me when I feel down. She has always been there for. It's gonna make me cry. I'm just blessed to have a mother-in-law like her. Yes, just sweet. Her and Mr. Ryan.
Amen, because a lot of people can't say that.
They can't.
It's just
That's
the
right.
flip of that.
That's
Yes.
My in-laws, you know, so that is truly a blessing.
That is a blessing.
Always look queen.
Yes.
So while you're saying that, let me just feed into you. You're talking about what we do for you, but what you bring to the table is totally, amazing. I think that when I look at you as a young woman, and I know that you have a huge responsibility, I admire you for that. I admire your parental skills. I admire how you love your children. And because anybody that has a large family like you have, that cooks like you do, that, you want to decorate and make home beautiful, and take care of your husband, and just everything that's involved with that, that's huge.
Yes.
And on top of it, you're a beautiful woman. So you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I know that sometimes that cup can be a little heavy, but you can handle it. And I'm going to tell you, like my grandmother used to say, it's a mighty hard wind, don't change its coast. So that means that even though right now, it may feel like, some days that it may feel overwhelming, it's a short window that passes by so quickly, and before you know it, you'll be on the other side of it. Just having to make decisions like buying a van versus buying a Lexus was the responsible decision to make, but it was the right decision to make for your family. And then when your children are up and you're making all these sacrifices for them now, when your children are up and it's your turn, honey, it's your turn.
It's your turn.
It's your turn. You can have what you want. You can do what you want. If the Lord delays His coming. And so don't despise the beginnings of where you are right now. Enjoy it. Take your time. Ask for the support that you need. You know what? Ask for the support that you need, because I think that one of the reasons why as women we become so overwhelmed is because we think we're alone and we think we're in this by ourselves, but we're not. You know what I mean? We're not. Like even with JQ works for Wholesale Natural Body Care on a part-time basis in between her business, and I recognize she has a set of skill sets that could help me out and take a load off of my plate, like managing Instagram pictures and things like that. And so I asked her, can you help me with this? So in building a community, I think it's okay to ask for help. Reach out, ask for the support that you need. And then if I don't support you, then this is going to be between me and the Lord.
Facts.
Fact on fact.
Facts on
right?
facts.
So let me just say to you, I've been where you are. All of us have, where we've had younger children, and it seems very overwhelming. But the time will go by fast, but ask for what you need. Ask for what you need.
My biggest thing is prayer. And when I open my eyes, some days I'm like, God, I don't feel like moving. But my biggest thing, and I say, Lord, give me the strength. And I pop up just like that. I turn on my church music, and I get in my van. I be driving my son. He be back. They be like, turn it down. I have that thing blasting in the morning. Like I'm grateful. I'm just
Yes.
just grateful for everything. Just to move my head in the morning, my arms, just to move my eyes. Like it's just a blessing.
And attitude is more important than fact. Because the fact of the matter is that you have a huge responsibility, but your attitude about that responsibility is what makes you stellar. Because when she shows up for work, she brings her A game.
She does.
She brings her A game. You know what I mean? And that's commendable, and that's recognized. I want you to know I see you. I see you. So many people don't even have a huge responsibility, and they just like in a corner trying to get a paycheck and don't want to work. So that's not you, and you have so much to look forward to.
And you said your biggest thing is you want to pray,
Yeah.
no matter what.
And
After
help
all
us
that
also.
she said that you do, it's so important. I can see it to you. You want to pray, and God knows that. You know?
It is.
And it's like, what does prayer look like? You know, a lot of people think it looks like you have to have a certain routine,
Area.
a certain area, or a
A
certain
certain posture.
a certain posture,
I used to
or
do that.
certain words that you know you have to, a certain ritual. No.
Yeah, I used to
You
be one
know,
of those
praying in your
people.
spirit, praying in your heart, praying in it. You know, and
And that's constantly.
yeah,
Mhm.
I felt you on
That's
that.
what
You
it's supposed to
know,
That's right. Wherever you go.
Wherever you
Whatever
are.
you do.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And I heard you, Jackie. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying I used to be that way when I used to think that God wouldn't even hear my prayers or that they didn't count unless I was on my knees with my head down in a
Right.
certain position,
Yeah.
you know, and certain things like that, literally, or
Yeah.
you know, you couldn't be laying in the bed just tired and still saying a prayer. It didn't count or it didn't work. So that's why I said I felt you when
Yeah.
it used to be like that for me when that's what I used to think about prayers, and now I'm like, I mean, when I strive to stay in constant prayer because I slip in and out. You know what I'm saying throughout
That's
the
right.
day.
That's right.
Yes.
And I wait a minute, I need to be in constant prayer. And prayer is what keeps me focused on God. If I'm not praying, and I'm just being really honest, if I'm not in a state of prayer, then I get, because
Right.
my attention goes fast.
Your attitude,
Yeah,
your
my
personality.
Yeah, I get
It's not right.
distracted really
Yeah.
easy because I'm one of those people who always likes to be doing something. And so staying in constant prayer is good. It's real good.
And sometimes if you're just waiting for that right time, you know,
Never
or
comes.
I always pray at this time of the day, or
Right.
it may not
Stuff
happen.
happens.
It may not happen. And I can't wait because, like you said, I have to look, Lord, check my attitude. I'm a teacher. Check it right now. Check it at the gate. Every day I need my therapy. I have to come to him every day for my therapy, you know, on my way
That's
to
real.
work, you know,
Right.
while
That's
I'm,
real.
you know, getting cleaned up, freshed up for the morning. Check my attitude. Make sure my attitude is right for that person that I'm gonna meet on the road. Definitely for the one child in my class that just tries me. And she knows she tries. You know, and I just, you know, so yeah, we have to do it. And it's like the song says, I need you every hour, not just every day. Sometimes
Every
it's
minute, every
Moments by
second.
moment, by moment.
you know.
And we don't even realize we need them because we couldn't even breathe to the next moment. It's because of them.
Yeah.
But we take away that.
Yes.
And to
Yes.
keep you around positive people.
Ooh,
That's my biggest
surrounded.
thing, godly, positive people.
Right.
Makes a difference.
That's another nugget.
Such a, yep, it is.
Because you can't always have that. And it's such a blessing when you do in your circle. But, you know, I thank God He will, if you let Him make your circle too, He will, you know,
Send it
what
right
you think may be
people.
the right
He'll
people
send
for
the
your
right
circle.
people
Yes.
your way. He'll
Just like being
connect
here
you.
today.
Like He's connecting us.
Amen.
Yes,
Amen.
yes.
That's right.
He will line the circle up just right.
And today, while we were out, we had to go down to in the Huntsville area to meet some contractors, Cassandra and I. And on our way back, her phone rang, and it was her prayer group. God, unpack that. I was like, you know, so she has kind of reached out and have, what, 2 prayer groups you said it was?
Well, we have 3 now. As the Lord told me, even increase in that. Increase in your prayer life. Increase in your reading the Word. And that was so big for me, y'all. I didn't read the Word. Born and raised in the church. I don't read the Word. It was like Shakespeare to me. I didn't understand it. So it's an increase in my prayer life and in reading the Word. So I started the prayer chain because me and my girlfriend was chatting. I was like, we can't go to church right now, and we can't go to Bible study. And I was so loving Bible study for the last 2 years, really getting to know the Lord and getting to know His Word after growing up in church. And He connected us, and we was like, well, why can't we? Let's do, you know, Bible study on Zoom or whatever. And I just text some other friends, and they were like, yeah, bing, 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 bing. And you know, the Lord had already showed me to do that. And it's just like Him connecting you. And I was just like, At first, when He told me, I can't do that. I can't do no prayer chain. I can't lead no Bible study. I don't know the Word. I don't even know your Word. How can I do that? That's what I told him. And he was like, okay. And just as soon as I said it, or thought it, we connected on it, me and another girlfriend, and when I texted to other girls, they came on board immediately. Yes, 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 yes. And I was like, oh my God, that's okay, you did it. And it happened with just them. And then I started connecting with people in Africa and my girlfriend in California.
Wow.
So we call it a prayer chain, and God linked it,
Oh wow.
you know?
Awesome.
And the link has gotten so big till we do 3 now. God has 3.
3.
So I just wanted to unpack what Cassandra was saying about speaking and believing and saying. That is like so powerful because the Lord put that in us. The minute we think something, and you were saying we don't have the capacity, we cannot heal ourselves. I heard a doctor say that even if you get a paper cut, that is so complex. It seems like a simple thing that we don't even have the ability to heal a paper cut.
Right.
It takes the blessings of the Lord. It takes God Almighty
Yes.
to heal something simple as a paper cut. But to be fully aware of our thought process and allow us to think that thing and then to say that thing brings life into it.
Yes.
So the minute you thought it was as good as done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then it was just a matter of you being obedient and bringing it to fruition.
That's right.
Because that's the reason why all of us are here today. That's the reason I have my business. I'm able to do the things that I'm able to do. It all started with a thought. A thought. And I know with you all, I met the Sledges when I first moved here.
Right.
Their church was my first church that I attended. And so hearing you be so demure about your accomplishments, I mean, the ministries that you have put together and the different women's ministry programs and how you've poured into the lives of women is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
It is, I mean, and she's real laid back, but she is a powerhouse. You are a powerhouse. And so I just wanted to ask you to speak to us being able to believe something, or for the Lord to just drop an idea in our heart, in our minds, in our brains, and for us to bring that thing to fruition.
And just as you stated, it begins with a thought, and you have to believe what you think. You have to believe that it's possible, for it to come to pass. And it gets to the point of where this is where my passion lies, and I cannot live without accomplishing this, because it becomes your everyday thought. So after it's something that's been conceived, and I believe conceived by the Holy Spirit, you know, if there's something that's supposed to be accomplished, I don't think we can relax until it comes to fruition. That you know, we can't just let it lie dormant, because I feel that, you know, that once God has placed it in our hearts to do, we have to search to find out, okay, Lord, I believe it's you. Now show me how to do it. And sometimes he'll just give you one little step, but he'll continue to speak to you as you advance toward accomplishing whatever that is. And I believe that we have to speak it. We have to continue to say, it will be done. I'm going to accomplish this. And as we go along the way, then we start seeing more. But our voice has to come out. We have to speak it, because the universe has to respond to what we say.
Say that.
And that's the
Say
biggest
that. Yes.
piece. Is once we
Wow.
learn the power that's in our tongue, the power that's in our mouth, and we speak it, the universe has to respond.
Has to align.
It has
that.
to align to what we're saying.
Line up.
You know, so I'm just a woman of faith. I believe anything can happen. You know, even though sometimes, like you say, Valerie, that I'm quiet, soft-spoken, or whatever,
Not that much anymore.
but my trust is totally in God.
Right.
And I don't doubt, not one moment. And I believe that when the time comes, because I believe it's a specific time too, because it's a specific purpose, you know, that God wants to accomplish in this earth through us. And so sometimes we can even think about something we want to accomplish, and sometimes it doesn't happen when we think it ought to.
Right.
But there is a Kairos moment that has to take place, where it has to happen. and there's nothing that can stop it.
Yes.
You know, when it's that perfect time for it to come forth, it has to come forth.
And so when you have, okay, so I have a lot of young ladies that are my customers. They're like customer family friends. And I know for them, it's easy for them to become discouraged because they want it now. They want everything now. But there's a work and a process. We just say that there are things that there are things that we should be doing in the meantime in that waiting period that will perfect us so that when it is time for us to walk in faith in that thing, it manifests itself.
That's right. That's right.
Absolutely.
Miss Diane is ready for us, but I tell you what, I'm so enjoying this. So we're going to take a break. We're going to eat our food, and then we'll just pick back up and enjoy the rest of our day.
Okay.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Regular that they can really relate to, and not the Nicki Minaj's that have done so many extreme things. All they know is extreme. They don't know, or they don't have awareness or pictures of right down the street. I mean, I'm that person in the moment right now.
And the millennials were born into it. That's all they know.
That's all they
know.
So
So
they
it's
don't know that era of it was if you had a small waist and moderate sized body, that was runway and that was fashion. You know, now it's like
That's because that's all out
you got
there.
to be Kim or Nikki.
But no, that's all that's going out there. It's not that they, because we had the diva girls and the crazy girls doing that same thing when we were growing up. They just weren't on social media. So what we have to adapt is the fact that social media is not going away. So if we want to change their minds and give them different perspective, we just have to be just as aggressive as the extreme people are doing.
Because this is reality.
Yes.
This is reality. How many people you know can go get a Brazilian butt lift?
None.
How many people do you know that can get a Brazilian butt lift and live to talk about it?
Exactly.
Except for
All
going in
social
the back
media
alley
people.
somewhere getting some silicone.
I'm just saying a lot of them doing it. They're taking their whole life savings and all their money.
Or doing it in the back alley somewhere. And it's unhealthy. And so the thing about it, you're right when you said that it takes more women like us to be more serious and be more aggressive about what real womanhood looks like.
What it looks like.
Versus you got this one guy telling all the women that, you know, if you are between this age and that age, that you just might as well forget about it because men aren't looking for you anyways. But number one, the Lord did not tell us to go out and look for no man anyhow. He said that a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. And so the young people have been taught, oh, you know, this is what, as a matter of fact, this lady said on her Facebook page to the men, talking about, all you men sending me messages, I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to respond because I'm trying to find me a husband. I was like, wrong answer, wrong answer. And so, yes, exactly.
Responding, but I'm looking.
Don't message me, but I'm looking.
So now he knows to contact you.
That's great.
But the thing about it, okay, so we got the young women, like you said, Jaquetta, that are this whole social media movement, and so they're influenced by what they see. And so now, do you think that it would be challenging for them to look at just regular, everyday women like us and want to have our look? Because you got to unpack that also, especially when you have a 50-year-old guy that's telling the women that, you know, if you're not a number one or an A beauty looker, then you don't get to say nothing anyhow. He literally was telling the women, unless you are like fabulous, gorgeous, drop dead beauty,
You don't qualify.
You don't qualify. You don't qualify to get a man that's making $10,000. Some of the guys that's making $10,000.
The problem is we're
and so on and so
already
forth.
letting him define what's beautiful. Because he's putting the lines down versus if I'm a woman and I already think I'm beautiful, when he's talking to me and I don't feel included in that beautiful, I'm already on another spectrum. So the women who are even attracted to him don't even feel like they're beautiful.
Well, and like I said, he condescends them anyways because he has the plateau already. This is the boundary. You've got to meet this boundary. And so this one young lady, I just felt so bad for her because she had two little ones. And he was basically just condescending her and telling her, you don't count. You don't count. And then he told her, you know, well, I've been married before. I've had stepchildren. And by the time you go through all of that with the step kid and the father, and then, you know, and the mother and I break up, she's going to take her kids in a relationship that I invested in with these kids. It doesn't count. Now that may be true, but if you are a responsible man that's about something and a responsible woman, first of all, if you're a responsible man that's about something, how did you attract this woman with this low self-image anyway? You know, and so don't come, you know, beating down on her now because you done changed your mind. Your set of wants and desires is different. She had that in her when you started dating her. So what was wrong with you? Why didn't you see it?
Right.
And why didn't you feed into her betterment? So I'm not even trying to hear a guy that's talking like that to women, because there's just as many men that need, and even when they call them higher up men, they can be just as sick as the women can be.
That's right. So this was on YouTube.
Oh yeah, he's on YouTube.
And he was just trying to give a list of what will attract
qualifications for, you know, a certain class of a man, and what he wants for himself.
Right there.
Yeah, what he wants for himself that does not include women with A, B, C, D, or E. It just didn't include that.
And that's his choice. When you're doing it to other people, when you're telling them, that's the problem. That's the problem. You're projecting your ideologies and your things onto other people and making them feel a certain way because of you.
But Jaquetta, he's saying that's how all men think.
That's what I'm saying. That's just what I said. You project those certain ideologies on them because of you because you think that. You assume all men think that.
Right. And you
so
said the confidence has to be there. It's just amazing to see women of all sizes, all colors, and see it when they're confident. You know, I see the plus size woman. I'm a plus size woman, you know, and I see the plus size women and when the confidence that they have now because they can go into the stores and their size, all the nice styles that everybody wants to wear is in their size now. It wasn't always like that, you know, and it just needs to be big up more, the confidence. Yes, work on yourself. Yes, be healthy. Yes, want to be healthy. But be happy with yourself.
Right, right.
No matter what you're making, no matter what your size is, be happy with your size. There's something beautiful about everybody. You
And
know?
so one of the things that he suggests is that all women want to be married. They want a man that can afford to take care of them so that they can stay home and that he can provide them with the life that he wants them to have, the life that they desire for themselves. And as I'm watching you shake
I'm
your
the same
head.
way.
Listen,
I need to go get my plate filled.
because to me, I think it's foolery is what I
Foolery, I love
it. It's foolery to think that all women have that as a desire. Okay, no more than all men have the same desire. Okay, that's just not how life is. And because I've had guys be like, just let me take care of you. Let me, you know, I can pay your bills. I can do. And you could just stay at home. Just stay at home. But I'm not that type of woman, right? So to make it seem like, you know, you want a man that's going to do all of these things. All women are not looking for the same thing,
Right.
Just like all men are not looking for the same thing. One of the things you had started asking about, do you think it would be challenging to basically counter what's being presented, that he's presenting as to, this is the type of woman you would need to be. This is how you need to look.
And not
Would it be challenging
necessarily
for
so
us?
much what he's saying, but also what Jaquetta said. Because Jaquetta's saying that this is the image that the young women are buying into because of social media.
I think it would be refreshing
Yes.
for them to see hear a different perspective, see different women, hear them speak, and realize, you know what? Like I see myself in her.
Yeah.
You know, I can
That's
look
it.
at her.
And that's what they're looking for. That's why he's got so many followers.
Right.
Right.
You're saying, why does he have so many followers? I'm 53. I've never been married. But it's gonna happen soon. But anywho, yeah, I've never been married. So it's like you could start to think, But what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? So you're just grasping for
You're
anything
grasping.
that's going to tell some kind of hope that's going to tell you. This is why the people are following it.
That's exactly
Something that's
right.
going to tell me what can I do
To fix myself.
To fix myself. There you go.
To fix myself. Like
Fix
there's something
myself so
wrong.
someone else will want me.
Yes.
What about wanting yourself?
Yes.
Yourself?
I was going to say, yes, we should be
Self-love.
working
That's
on
why I was
ourselves.
about to say the self-love.
That's
Because
what we
become
should
a
see,
very
though.
big thing.
We should be working on ourselves, but not, this is why I don't have a husband.
Right, that's what I say. That's what we don't see. We see in social media all these wonderful things, but we don't have enough of us. You think about if that Miss Valerie had 14 million followers, each one of us had 14 million followers here, and we were showcasing like they do our lives. She's a $2 million maker. Right now, there's only 26,000 people on her social media that know about it. Think about if that was doubled. If she was a Kim Kardashian
Right,
and
right.
14 million people could see a woman of her stature making $2 million, she would have followers too. And guess what she would be able to do? Influence the woman that
Right.
sees just like her, that lives
And
right
shouldn't
down the
that be
street.
the goal?
And it
Shouldn't
should
that
be
be
the
the
goal,
goal?
but there's not enough of us
No.
that are confident, even though we've made it. Even though we're successful in our world, there's still not enough. If we lined up 20 women in here that were just like Miss Val, I guarantee you the stats would say 5 of them would agree to even making a testimonial online.
That's true. That's true.
That's
Because
the
I
truth.
struggle with that.
Yeah.
I struggle with that. And for a long time, I even struggled. Amy, I'm sure you know, I struggled with self-confidence for a long time. People thought that I had confidence, but I did not have it. I didn't have it, and I struggled with, self-confidence, stage fright, where if ever I had to talk, I just really didn't like talking in front of people. I would get nervous, my whole bosom would be just wet.
I like this new Val. I grew up with her, and I ain't never seen her talk.
I know, right? I told Ralph, I said, when I grew up,
No.
I was really, really quiet,
I love
really,
this
really
new
laid
Val,
back. But what I recognize is that I think, like what Sister Amy said about when we say things and when the universe has to agree, everything has to align. I think right now is my turn, it's my time, because I wondered for a long time the talents that the Lord had put in me. What was I going to be doing with the Lord? How are you going to unfold this? How am I going to represent this? Because in my own self, I was nervous about it, and then was fear of rejection, all kinds of stuff, or thinking I'm going to be judged, or having to line up with somebody else's, with somebody else's letters behind their name or whatever. But I just think, and like you said, it's all about timing. It's all about timing when the Lord births something in us. And if it's going to be brought to fruition, that you really just have to hold on to it. You got to hold on to it regardless of what obstacles may come your way. But, the young women, they just really have my interest because I just see them going somewhere different. And it's not attractive. Just the things that they subject themselves to, not even so much to have a man, but just for the sake of beauty. You were talking about healthy
It's
beauty.
It's not just healthy beauty.
Yeah.
Being loving, the love that we deny ourselves, and that's really the word, is deny. At least that's what I think. Because it's funny how we'll allow somebody else to do something to us, but we won't do that to our own selves. Or
Like what, JQ?
like, for instance, somebody else will buy you something, but you won't go to the mall and buy your own self something. Something as simple as that, literally.
Or take yourself to dinner.
Or take yourself to dinner. I used to be
Buy
like,
yourself some flowers.
any
Or
of that kind of
jewelry.
stuff.
I
But
started
then when
doing that.
somebody else doesn't do it for you,
Yeah.
you got a problem. Because you have an expectation that of something that you can't even do for yourself.
But that speaks into something totally different. That's a whole nother set of psychology.
Yes.
Because it has
Yes.
more to do with the way we were raised.
Right.
And that has, I mean, like for me, I know Tabari, I can use him as an example. He loves to talk to me. He wants to talk to me. And because my mom, my father left us when I was an infant, and so I never knew my father. And my mother was a very upset woman because she was left with the burden of 3 small children. And so her thing was not to hug on me and talk to me and love me and kiss me and all this other kind. Her stuff was to go to work. I got to go to work, and I got to go to work and put food on the table. I have to make ends meet. So I was small enough not to know that I was being affected by that. But I was also small enough to see her model, and what she modeled to me was to be a strong worker.
That's right.
She had a
Don't
beautiful,
give up.
She did everything to make sure that there was food on the table. We had a place to live, and so I'm sure that that's exactly the same thing that I did. I did. Now here comes this little boy that my grandmother and them done doted on. Here he is now as a man. Mom, why don't you talk to me? Mom. I'm like, boy. If you don't quit calling me, don't you see I'm busy? I ain't got time right now. So, Jaquetta, it has so much to do with the way that we were raised. And not only as women, and I also heard Samuel say some things that are on point. They're key. Like he said, okay, so this is what a man wants. And maybe we need to ask Mr. Rowan what a man wants. But what he was saying, I know, I know. It doesn't matter to Ralph how many millions I make. He's really not interested in that, as opposed to he is in me being a home wife, cooking his meals, and being his support system. That's more important to him than me climbing the ladder.
I don't know, his face is saying
No.
something.
Look at his face.
He's like,
Okay,
what?
speak to it, honey.
But that's not it, baby girl.
What is it? What is it, G-Pop?
Well, I mean,
Ain't supposed to be no men in here.
He told me earlier
but it
when he
is.
met you, he knew what he had. And
Uh-oh.
he told me earlier
Yeah,
when
I
we
mean-
went to look at the property, he said, I knew she had it in her when I met.
I saw something in her that she had not yet come to fruition in her own mind. You understand what I'm saying?
That's that support.
I knew
That's that support.
against the odds, because people were upset with me because my wife had died of breast cancer, and I was a free man, right? People were upset with me when me and Val got together, but I knew that she was a good woman, and I knew that she was going somewhere, and as long as we work together, we'll get there. And so it's not so much that I want her to be a home. What do you call it?
A home wife.
A home wife. She's never going to be a home wife anymore. And I already recognize that, because of what's transpiring in our lives, But I do like the fact that she is a homebody. You know what I'm saying? So when she comes home, she's home. When I come home, I'm home, and we don't have any kids. You know what I mean? Right. So we're here together, and that's what makes me happy.
And you're enjoying every moment.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, too, that I was 40 years old.
Sweet.
Okay, Mr. Samuels.
All
He
right.
told the women that are older than 27 and 32, you can forget it. Ain't nobody going to marry you.
What?
And I already had my parameters set for a good man, and he had the same for a good woman.
Right.
So as two God-fearing people that wanted to do it the Lord's way, we were attracted to each other. It didn't matter how old we were.
Right.
So don't be telling people that,
That's right.
oh Lord, you're not going to find a certain, and he was a level up man, and I was a level up woman. We weren't in the projects.
Right.
He had a business making good money. I had a decent job. And we came together and we did what we needed to do. And he was, even if I didn't have the job that I had, I don't think that would that have influenced you negatively against me? I had children. We are a blended family, and we worked through all of that. So don't be telling people that if they have a blended family, if they have children,
If they
that
have
they
children
can't have a
already.
successful marriage, or that they
Over a
can't
certain
be,
age.
or that they can't attract a level up man or woman. That's not true. That's not true.
Hey, there's a key to blended families, I promise you. Most blended families don't work. The key to blended families is that, like, for instance, I came to her and I told her, I said, the only way this is going to work is that you and I stand one in one. No matter what your kids say, no matter what my kids say, we stand together as one.
That's right.
That's
That's the only way a blended family will work, if the two people stand strong enough together against whatever it is that the kids, because the kids are going to try
They
to
gonna
draw
try.
a wedge.
Even if they were adults.
They
They're
were.
trying.
Her kids try to draw a wedge, my kids try to draw a wedge, and we just stood
That's
firm.
what they do.
So that's what
We
they
just stood
Kids are
firm.
gonna
We
do
just
it.
stood firm. We just stood firm. And guess what? Her daughter loves me just like I'm her biological dad. Her son loved me. I don't know about Keenan because I haven't seen him in a while. But
Keenan loves you.
what I'm saying is that they already know that they can't draw wedges between us. You
Yeah.
understand? And you have to do that with a blended family.
Yeah.
So you have to be mature enough, and that has to be a part of the rule. And the other thing that, that he said was that to younger women, like what Jaquetta was talking of these young women, I just think that if you are a young single woman, and let's say you're 27 or you're 37 or you're 38, as a God-fearing woman, the dating looks different, doesn't it, Mother?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm 37, so it definitely.
And I'm
Yeah, it
over
looks
that, so
different.
it looks different.
And the thing that you don't do, because I know even with Ralph and I was like, look, we're not gonna date 12 months for you to decide.
Right.
We got 6 months, didn't I say, baby? I said, you got 6 months, so you need to move out the way.
Okay.
Okay? You're not blocking
me.
that.
Stop blocking.
Get
Stop
out
blocking. You ain't the one. Stop blocking.
She said, you need to move out of the way and move everything out of the way.
Okay.
That's right.
She said, you got 6 months, baby.
That's right. That's right. Especially at a certain
Right.
you can
At a
you
certain
let
age, you
somebody
know
tell.
I don't go past 3.
Yeah.
Well,
you
no,
know.
it was at everything had to be added up for the 3. I wasn't going 6 more months unless I knew you was going to put something
That's right.
on it.
That's
Okay. Okay. So yeah, and you have to be serious about that. If you want your life, if it's going to be orchestrated by design, we are in control over our lives with the help of the Lord as number one.
Right.
But he already told us how to do it.
Yeah.
So once we start walking in it, it's just certain things that just need to line up. And I love it when she said, I ain't going 3. At 37 years old? And first of all, if your
37, that's
conversation,
good.
Right.
and listen,
You
look,
ought to know
girl.
something by then.
honey, I'm
You
gonna
should
check,
absolutely know
and
something about
Candace,
it.
Girl.
You already know I'm wonderful.
I'm gonna check your credit. You ain't moving in my house. Okay, you know, you gonna have something to take me to.
Right.
Right, and I had a home, and Ralph had a home, and so my house went here, and I came home with the husband.
Yes.
Okay, just like the Bible said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because it was his responsibility to take care of me.
Right.
Yeah, but these women, you know, they taking care of these rascals and doing stuff.
Right.
That's why it's not working.
They accept them to come home with no job. Come move in their house,
No.
no job.
No car.
One day a guy, right, I was getting ready to
At least
say
a
that.
car.
No, you about to get
No,
us.
you have more in the car.
I'm just saying,
Hey,
some of them not
You better listen to your daughter. You better listen to your daughter.
She loves to tell my business.
Yeah, right, we love you.
My stories. Let me tell you something about my daughter.
Right. So this guy she was dating, she told me about him. He was living in Memphis, Tennessee. Right. He already had a bunch of kids,
Oh, Lord.
which I don't have a problem with that now.
You know?
But what I did
She's
say,
spicy.
what I did say to her is, okay, if he has 6 children,
Oh, Lord.
you have 1. A lot of your money is going to have to be spent taking care of these kids because of their ages. Okay, so you got to think about that, how it's going to affect your life. You know, it's not that you just marrying this guy or you dating this guy and plans on marrying. So when he came down for the first time to meet her, what do you think he
Why was
came?
this such a big deal?
This
No, he
honey,
rode a
He
motorcycle.
rode a motorcycle.
She was so
I
upset.
said, it just bothered me because I said,
How could he
this
come
is a
and visit
man who knows you have a child. He's
Number 1.
planning on coming to church. So what are you, the 3 of you gonna ride on the motorcycle?
Even if she didn't have a child.
But
don't
that told you
assume
so
that
much
you're
about
gonna
his
have a
mindset.
child.
That told you how self-centered he was.
self-centered.
That's right.
Yes.
It's not the one.
She was.
I didn't have to have but that
Now you
That's
see it.
right.
We
That
all
was
read into
not
that.
the one.
That was her. That was.
We all read into that.
Yeah.
They
He
saw
came on a
the
motorcycle
perspective.
first
He has
date.
a car, he just wants to ride the motorcycle.
It was selfish
So
of him to do that.
that was her
You want
thing.
to got
She
your
was
hair
like,
out.
You
She
could not
was
have
like,
right
yeah.
tire on.
she was like,
So what did he want to do? He's gonna put you on the back, and you got to. Where's Caleb gonna sit?
No.
You know, I'm so
Look, Candace, look, no.
Oh, well,
No.
don't worry. They
It's not
ran him
the
off that day.
I'm glad.
And what I say,
Next time, call me.
Look, they don't even have to make a phone call because they ran him off
I'm so glad.
that day. Okay, that was it.
But can I ask you? I just want to ask you a question, and I'm not asking you this to think one way or another. But what were you thinking? I mean, what attracted you to him? What made you even be interested in him?
So, for me, it was conversation. He was respectful in the way he communicated. He grew up the same way I did when it came to, our beliefs and things like that. So when the motorcycle situation happened, let me say this too. So yes, he had a lot of children, and he took care of those kids. He made 6 figures, so he did well enough to take care and provide for his children. They had the same mother. And he had, here was my thing, right? He asked me if I was okay with him driving the motorcycle instead of the car. I said, that's fine. Enjoy the ride. And then we'll drive my car when you get here.
Yeah, I'm saying the background on that is.
Hold up.
So,
Wait a
For
minute.
me.
Look,
I'm sure you gave him permission. I don't know if
I
you would have
did
just.
give him permission.
well,
Yeah.
why would you?
So, Miss
why
Amy?
would you do this?
Because I don't
The mic.
So I don't see why. Here's the thing: if you know a man that loves a motorcycle, if they have an opportunity to take it down the road,
And show it to somebody.
they're gonna
do it.
And to me, there's
Do
nothing.
it on the third
no.
trip. Don't do it on the
She
third
gave him
trip.
the first.
I
She gave
gave
him.
him.
Yeah, she gave
Trip.
him. He asked.
Valid points.
That's what I'm saying.
He asked. He didn't take it upon himself. He
Absolutely.
did ask.
But
I can't stop my head from shaking.
But
He
let me
asked,
say
and I
this.
still feel that there was absolutely
But let
nothing
me
wrong
say this.
Me either.
I got another
because we
point.
drove.
You got another
I have another point I want to make.
Oh,
Yes,
okay. Let's go to
Okay.
the next one.
So you're going to ride on your little fancy motorcycle, and you know you're meeting your friend's parents for the first time. Why don't you know you're gonna sweat down the highway?
First of all, he
And
got here the day
come-
before. She has
Well, he
in her
ain't gonna
mind.
sweaty to me.
She swears.
She just did not like
She
the
just
motorcycle.
did it. That's all it is, and it tainted.
But
It
my-
tainted everything
but see,
else.
My thing is,
And this is my mother, so I know it.
like I
to be
That's
true.
what
said,
I'm saying.
you know, he can come on the 3rd or 4th trip on a motorcycle, but not the first. You're supposed to be coming
First
to
impression.
first impressions. You're supposed to
To
come.
represent.
Exactly. Show me something. I didn't see anything.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know how many children he had before he came?
Yes.
Yeah, she was already.
I
She
did.
also had
So
some
he was
There's
already.
sensitive
So
things
he
in
was
there.
already. He was already.
We
he was
cannot
already
take
there.
away from
No.
preconceived notions
But let me say this.
because there
There
were.
were a
But
lot
let,
of them.
let me
I could
say
tell.
this. With the 6
That wasn't
children,
unreal.
6
Thank-
children was not the
thank
deal
you, Brother
breaker for me.
No, not the deal breaker.
No,
but it was still on
Because
the
in my
forefront
It was
of
still
my
a
mind.
negative.
especially
It was
she
still a
already
negative.
told me he was making 6 figures.
Okay.
He was taking care of his kids, which that was my number one. Got all
Yeah.
these kids.
But you
What are
did
you
know.
doing?
But you did know that 6 kids could become a problem.
I knew.
Which is
Yeah,
why it's still viewed as
But
an
I
issue.
felt like I needed to address that issue because sometimes people just don't think. They're just so blindly in love.
Smitten, huh?
Yes, and then you have to hit
It's
some
too
realities.
I don't know about blindly in love as much as blindly infatuated.
Okay, there we go. Okay, blindly infatuated.
Yeah.
So you have to bring the reality checks in.
Right.
So that was one reality check that I knew we needed to talk about. And she knows I don't care. I love kids. So you can have as many as you want. I wish I could have had more. So the number of kids was really not the major thing. But my thing is,
But it wasn't minor.
It was.
Thank you, because you still have to point that out.
Hey,
Because it
you
was.
you have to own up to it.
That's what I'm
It's not
saying.
like
And
him
then
having
my
6
my
kids.
Own
other
up
thing,
to it.
my other thing, Brother Rad, is
Brother
I
Ralph.
can't see after dark.
Oh my
To
goodness.
drive. So should I bring it here or do you guys want to go there?
You need to probably take all your goodies. So yeah, it's fine here.
Hey, let me get.
Everybody has
if
a
you
saucer.
girls are through eating, let me have your plates if you don't mind.
Okay, here you go.
Everybody hold on to your saucer. I'm not not done.
You're not done. Okay, may I have yours, please? Thank you.
That is so pretty. I love it.
It is. a nice
She is such a good cook. Already, so I didn't want to marry anybody. I didn't want to give it to anybody that had younger children. So that would have been a deal breaker.
Okay.
Right here.
But see, so there's different things that I take into consideration when it comes to the type of guy that I'm willing to entertain, for lack of a better word, right? So I focus more on the way you speak to me, the way you treat me.
But what if it's a
the
game?
respect.
How do you know? How do you know if it's
I mean,
a
it
game?
always reveals itself in time.
Yeah.
So to me, right?
too.
So to me, it all reveals itself in time. I told a guy last night, we shall see. I said, and I told him, I said, you do realize that every guy meets, that where we start talking and getting to know each other. They all at some point say, they all at some point tell me how amazing I am and how I make a wonderful wife. And
All that.
and they fall in love, and it's just they just can't very quickly. Like
And if they do, what
literally, it's like, come on, okay.
Possible.
So my thing is, I hear you, but you prove yourself. So at the end of the day, you can say all that, do all of that, but your actions, like that's what I'm waiting to see. And so. My mom's view on that particular situation, the action of him coming to visit, to me meant something. And the fact that my mother made the issue of that he rode a motorcycle. It's like he loves his motorcycle. I have a car. I told him we could drive my car to church.
Back to the motorcycle?
Yes, because I think that when you put focus on things that are not an issue, women make issues out of things that are actually not issues. That was
It
not.
wasn't an issue for you because you had already worked it out in your mind.
And that's a preference.
And it is. It's
That don't make or break who you are.
Exactly.
It may not. It may not.
I heard something real important she said. Your first impression is important. He is the man, and if he wants to please you, he should be thinking. He knew he was going to meet you all and everything.
And he didn't meet them on his motorcycle. He did not meet them on his motorcycle.
No, see,
She's making it
all the
seem
things
like
that she knows about the
It's what she
situation.
knows.
In her car.
Correct.
Because I gave him that.
I think I still know what you're saying, because in the back of my mind, even though I have the car and he has another car, driving a motorcycle, but why would you ask that on the first date? Come get to know me, or come on up.
And here's the thing, this is the first date.
If you
Unless
go
you're a motorcycle rider
anywhere,
too.
if you go anywhere in the town in Huntsville while you're down here visiting, then you've got to be in her car.
And what is wrong with
And
that?
my thing is
Because
this.
people are gonna be like, well, does he have a car?
Who cares if it?
People think though.
See,
And I think that's the
this is a generational
mindset. That's the
thing.
generational
This is a
thing.
generational thing. This is a generational
As a
thing.
man, you should
I don't care what people
that
think.
I don't take care of her.
I don't.
I don't need
people to
I don't
think
need people to
Even
think
though
that.
you don't need him to take care of you.
Okay, but I don't need people to
being able to.
What does it matter that people think that he can do
She
that?
already knew he was 6 figures
Right.
and could take care of her if she was ready.
Right.
She already knew he had a car versus a motorcycle, and she said it was okay.
And my thing is this.
I think it's deeper than that.
I do too.
Is that sometimes people say this is who I am, but they're not really that person.
Correct.
See, I think
That always happens. Yes, I mean,
I don't really believe people when they tell me
she doesn't believe people.
I
period.
make 6 figures and I do this and I do that. Okay, show me along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You didn't give him that chance.
I don't have that much time to waste.
You saw him one day and one day only.
And I don't need to be wasting
There was
time.
nothing that said he did not have money.
But
what
Candace,
is-
To make it seem like he did.
Let's, because you know your mom and I are about the same age. So let's to quit. So
I'm
wait.
way older than you, and I had the same thoughts. I feel like the same thing.
Well,
there was a lot more about the relationship that you shared with him that you knew as a woman based on what your wants and desires were for you.
But
however,
but he was saying a lot
I
without saying a
still
lot.
understand what her mom was saying by the presentation.
Right.
Because based on the preconceived things that she had, the motorcycle thing and the other little things together just made it a little bit more edgy, scary, like, okay, maybe he's just not suitable. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm a single woman myself. And I had the same situation that you have. Most of the time, it's like, I already know what I want.
Yes.
Before anybody meets anybody, I've already done a screening.
Okay.
And based on that,
Right.
I do not care if I'm out with this guy and he's in my car, what somebody else thinks, because the ultimate end is what we're going to do behind closed doors is really what's going to matter to me.
Right.
And so I'm like you. Hey, I got my little checklist. Check, and
And what
really don't care
everyone
if my
else
mom likes
thinks,
it.
their
Doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to
But
me.
I think it still goes a little deeper than this. I think it goes deeper than what's being said. It's what's not being said that you have to be right. That you have to be in literally concert with. And I think he was saying a lot that he didn't say based on how he did things. He may have said, and you may have, because you're graceful, and it may not have bothered you because you have a maturity about yourself. But I think that he should have, and this is just me, I think that something about his demeanor should have spoke differently to who you are as a woman.
Right.
Something about his decision, because I don't know him and I'm just listening, but all I hear is selfishness. That's what I hear coming up in his behavior. Because I'm looking at his behavior, the decision for him to do what he did. I don't really care about what conversation he was having with you. I don't really care about how much he loves his motorcycle. You know, and I don't care that he could drive your car. But it's selfish. To me, I just think that it's the core of the person, and that's who we marry. We don't marry what you say. We don't marry, you know, how you project. We don't marry that, because a lot of that can be a facade. And because, you know, you're looking for a heart, a real deep connection with somebody that's going to be about who that person is, that's what needs to speak the loudest about this person. And they really shouldn't even have to verbally tell you, you know, because that's your countenance is beginning to shine now. Your character is shining, and that's who we marry. And so now, in his character, I mean, let's just judge based on what he did. His decision to do what he did just does not speak non-selfish. It just does not speak, I will prefer you over me and my even my children. I want to know, and this might be simplistic, I like sports cars. But when I had 3 little kids, it didn't matter how much of a sports car I liked. It didn't make sense. It's not good mindset sense for me to buy a sports car, because where my kids gonna go?
Right.
And for me to do that, I'm speaking out of the other side of who I am. And it's either right or wrong. There's no in between. The Bible doesn't make room for us to say, okay, well, I'm just gonna be pink about this. You either gotta have the ability to make good decisions about everything, or you're probably not gonna make good decisions about most things. Now, if you got 6 kids, I want to know why you got a motorcycle. I just really want to know why you got a motorcycle. What you gonna do with the kid? What do we do? What do we do with the 6 kids? On your terms.
Not his own vehicle.
I know, but still, it's not time. It's not the time for the motorcycle. How old are them kids?
I don't understand what is the problem with him having a motorcycle.
He had another car.
Well, you can have the motorcycle, but don't bring the motorcycle when you come to see me.
I can't. So
Me either.
I gotta say.
It's like telling me I got 6 kids and I'm not allowed to go to the spa.
But see, but
That's exactly what it's like. Come on.
He can do something for himself. He had a car.
It's
He had a
not
car. But he his only thing was not a motorcycle.
That was
He
not
had
his
a
only
car.
thing.
But look at
He had
She said that her first impressions was
she never even saw him on the motorcycle. Here, I'm gonna say
She
this.
knows
I'm so glad.
I think both sides are valid. Both sides have
I
valid.
disagree
And
entirely.
you're not going to change how you feel because I understand it. And you're not going to change how you feel. I understand
Yeah,
that too.
right.
And who cares who thinks? You know,
Right,
as long
right.
as you know the deal.
Yeah.
I know my
First
child.
question is a good question.
I know my child
Move on.
that she's
Okay. Because we're absolutely not gonna
She is
agree.
going, but see, we know
Because without allowing, hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Oh, I have to go.
Here's the thing.
Is it 4 o'clock?
Oh yes.
I just want us, okay, in closing,
Amen.
I just want to say
I hate
that,
to go, but
I know, but in closing, I just want to say, I think the bottom line is, I'm so thankful that you have a mother and a father that care so much for you.
Yes.
Because that's a blessing within itself. You know,
Oh, no, I
like I said, my mom was really
Yes.
preoccupied with making a living. And then because of the ramifications of what she was going through, ended up becoming, struggling with alcoholism. So I never had a mother that could do what your mother just did.
Oh, she
I
does it all
could
the
get
time.
anything.
Honey, every
I got
single
one of those
time.
mamas too.
Do you
Oh
believe?
yeah, I know.
Listen.
My mama's 3 times you, and I'm
Listen.
my mama
All
always
in
said,
it. All in
I
it.
see farther than way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is, I think
The one she
ultimately,
picked for me still with me. So all I'm saying, if we gonna talk about it, but if we gonna talk about it. So all I'm saying is sometimes mamas know. Sometimes mamas know and sometimes they don't.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, sometimes there's a criticality that's there that is actually an unfair, unrealistic criticality. And I think it is very important for there to be a balance when it comes to setting expectations. Sometimes we can be critical and judgmental.
Very much so.
And we can look at somebody and be like, oh, because they
Based on one
I'm
What?
bad.
Like,
I'm bad.
and so that to me is actually a problem. And so, in my opinion,
We do that as black people a lot.
we
though.
do.
that as-
There's
we
things
have
that
these
matter
secrecies
so much more
based on what
that
our
we tend to
forefathers
just be
did.
like, well, so it didn't matter. So you would rather me be married to somebody
Did he have
who-
custody of the 6 children?
They had joint. But it's like, so when I think about things that are shown and demonstrated, and I look at how do you handle a situation where we disagree. How do you handle you're upset? What does your upset look like? How do you handle a financial stressor? Like there's other things that I'm looking at that I'm trying to see how do you handle a rough day at work.
Right.
Does that mean you go home and drink a case?
Me too.
Or does it mean that you talk through it? There's so many other things that are so much more important when it comes to how we are together, how we can make a relationship work, how are we compatible. And a motorcycle being driven down here is absolutely not an indication of selfishness when you're taking into consideration, hey, how is this, because I haven't driven it in a while and I am coming down and it's a really nice ride. How do you do it? And to me, the fact that you at least talked to me about it, and you didn't just show up like that. It was, hey, is that okay, or do I need to drive my other ride? Okay, I have absolutely no problem with that, and that to me is more of a generational thing. There are
If the weather turned bad for his whole stay, y'all would have had to
motorcyclists always check weather. So motorcyclists is not
I know,
going
I'm
to
saying
take that
if the
ride.
weather, because sometimes the weather be just opposite, totally off. So if the weather went totally south, just bad that whole time, and you had to drive your car, would you have felt
I don't
imposed
care
on?
about
You would
driving
have
my car.
felt imposed
They
on?
had already planned that.
They had already
planned.
planned
She
it.
said that.
They
She
had
said
planned
that.
it. But
because to me it's a vehicle. Like,
oh, okay.
It's
I
a-
was thinking maybe sometimes you be on motorcycle,
This
sometimes
is
you
the thing.
Uh-uh.
She had already told him this.
Yeah.
They were gonna drive in her car. He was
Yeah.
just driving it down there.
Yeah.
And he knew.
He didn't expect
that
her to use her
he was going to be
his
spending
moves.
time.
And he
Sometimes on the first date though, I wouldn't say
not the
that.
first date. It was the first time.
On Sunday.
Oh, it wasn't the
He
first
knew
date?
he was
That wasn't the
gonna-
first time meeting you?
No.
That wasn't the first date. Okay,
No.
I understand. Okay, I
And
understand.
so
She had already
I agree.
established.
So this is part of my mother and her
Her things for
perspective
him,
Okay.
for her.
and
That was a
her
big
how
part
she
I missed.
perceived things.
She had already had a relationship with this man. He talked.
We had been dating. We had been dating for months.
Oh, I missed that part.
Was it?
I was like, the first time you
That's why it's not
I get what she said.
And so my thing is, that was his first time coming here. But just because that's his first time coming here. And here's the thing, my thing is, when it comes to meeting, when it comes to meeting my parents, that's a tough thing for any guy. Okay? Because my parents, when it comes to me, they are, of course, very protective. I'm very, very close to my parents. Very, very close. Okay, we talk every day. We see each other several times a week. Okay? So, we talk about everything. So, I'm very close with both my parents, with my brothers. I mean, we're a close family. Okay? So because of that, then of course they feel like they can be